Elon Musk, business tycoon, owner of Tesla, owner of SpaceX, and after a $44 billion deal, now owner of Twitter. What made the guy who started Doge, the guy who made an offer of $54.2 per share, just because it reminded him of cannabis, because it reminded him of 420? What made him acquire one of the largest media platforms in the world, and how did it fail so bad that the revenues have plummeted almost 4 times? So if you're interested in that, then stick around and let's get into the story of Twitter, Elon Musk, and a lot more. So it's April 14, 2022, and Elon Musk acquires a 9.2% stake in Twitter. Now fast forward to October 2022, and he's now just made it a complete takeover. But how has he acquired this? He used a leveraged buyout. A leveraged buyout is pretty simple. So what Elon Musk has done is that he has gone to person A, person B, and person C, and he's acquired money from them on debt financing, and he's used this money to go and buy Twitter. And you might think Elon Musk is a rich man. He was worth 220 billion at this time, so it shouldn't be a big deal for him. But the thing is, his net worth of 220 billion is associated with Tesla stocks and SpaceX stocks. He does not just have 44 billion lying around anywhere. This is why he required debt financing. How do you even go about asking for 44 billion? For 13 billion of this 44 billion, he got this from banks who were queuing up to go and invest in him. Why? Because they knew behind him in collateral were Tesla and SpaceX stocks, which were very valuable. He had Morgan Stanley and the Bank of America behind him to fund 13 billion of this in debt investments. However, with the 13 billion investment came an annual interest payment of 11% at $1 billion per year. Now that's a cost which caused changes in how Elon Musk wanted to run things. And another 7 billion he got from Larry Ellison and Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. And of course, some of this money had to come from him. So 20 billion of this was funded by his sale of Tesla stocks in the November, in the December, in the year before. But when you buy such a large company, when you acquire a big media platform, it obviously has to be at a premium, right? And that is why this $54.2 per share that he selected was actually a 38% premium on what the stock price was before Elon Musk announced plans. And this allowed Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, who still had a 2.4% stake in the company, to walk away with 978 million after Elon Musk's deal. But of course, this was a huge undertaking. And when you assume such a large debt, you need to have plans to pay it off. And what was Elon Musk relying on? Twitter being an ad revenue based company. It was reported that before Musk's acquisition, 90% of Twitter's revenue came from ad revenue. But what happened with Musk's introduction into Twitter? Musk announced free speech. He wanted everybody to have a free say and, in his eyes, promote freedom. But what actually turned out happening was, while you did have good logical debates on Twitter, we all know that's just a small minority compared to the radicals who are willing to voice hate speech to promote their views. And this is something that big companies like IBM, Disney, Coca-Cola, they were not big fans of. Them being associated with Twitter was anything but this. And this is why by 2023, Twitter lost almost 14 of their biggest 30 investors in ads. And this saw Musk panic, because this was his plan to get the money that he had invested in Twitter. He wanted this money to service anything that Twitter was going to do in the future, and ads were a big factor. But now that this plan has gone down the drain, what does he do next? So to fill this gap and attract more creators to Twitter, Elon Musk decided to launch the Creator Monetization Program. And by July 2023, ad revenue was now a feature of Twitter. This means if a creator joins the Creator Monetization Program, just like YouTube has its own, then creators will be paid for all the content that they put out there. Now this seems like a good idea. Content creators get paid for the content that they put out. But when we look at the reality, when we look at the numbers, we see that once X launched their ad revenue sharing, in 7 months, $45 million was paid out to 150,000 creators. But this averages out to only $42 per month for every single creator. So this means while some people were making significant sums on Twitter, some people were barely making 1 or 2 cents. Some people were making $1. And that's not enough for them to sustain a career or living. But the catch was, while advertisers paid about $5 cost per mile, when it came to ad payouts to the creators, they only got $0.07 cost per mile. And this means 98% of the revenue was with Twitter. And push it to late 2024 and these payouts got even worse. He said that only premium user engagement counts in ad revenue. This means if they don't pay Musk, they don't pay you either. And there were outliers like Mr. Beast, for example, who got 162 million views on the video $1 versus a $100 million car. And he earned $263,000 of just that video alone. But even he admitted that there was an outlier and not all creators could expect to earn this kind of money, because all the ad companies were promoting more ads on his videos being that he is Mr. Beast and not because it's just any other video on Twitter. So when it really comes to the payout, it wasn't really working. And how about in November 2022 when Elon Musk announced Twitter Blue, which meant you could pay $8 and you could receive verification. The vision was clear. Elon Musk wanted to democratize verification. He wanted everybody to have the access to verify if they have enough money. And you don't need that much money because it's just $8. Without any delays, there were setbacks that even he did not foresee. And this is that everybody was impersonating everybody. You had 100 verified versions of sports stars, of Elon Musk himself, even verified Jesus Christ himself. So, what was with this verification idea in the first place? Because we all know after late 2024, blue check marks were almost everything when it came to content creation on X. So Musk's campaign to democratize verification really ended up with people fleeing the app, with advertisers fleeing the app, and Musk losing even more revenue. It was reported that in 2022, Twitter earned a revenue of 4.4 billion. Now this fell to 3.4 billion in 2023, and as of 2024, it fell to $2.5 billion. And this figure is expected to only stabilize in 2025, not even go any higher. So all in all, what was Musk's bigger vision? It was to make an everything app that he called X. So he rebranded the name Twitter, he rebranded the white bird, he rebranded everything to make it more corporate. All he put was a big X logo behind a black screen, and that was the new Twitter logo. And now everybody refers to it as X. Because Elon Musk, whether he knew it or not, he was showing what Twitter had now become from what it used to be. It used to be a more welcoming app where it was more about discussion, more about the idea of a social media app. Now it's a reflection of the more dull and depressing entity that Twitter has now become. But it's not all bad. In 2023, with Elon Musk trying to build his everything app, he integrated AI and he acquired Twitter for $33 billion with his own company, XAI. And with this acquisition of XAI, he integrated Twitter's very own AI, Grok. And this AI chatbot Grok was meant to be a rival to ChatGPT. It was meant to give information to users instantly. If they wanted verification about anything, whether that was false or true, they could just ask Grok and it would tell you instantly. But even with good intentions, it just hasn't quite hit the same as ChatGPT did. And right now, people do use Grok, but it hasn't attracted the mainstream attention. It hasn't attracted the investors or the advertisers that Elon Musk would have liked to acquire. So all in all, what did Musk get right? Well, firstly, when Elon Musk came to Twitter, one of the biggest news surrounding this entire deal was the number of layoffs that he had to do. Now, out of the 7,500 employees that Twitter had, this number was cut down to 1,500 in an aim to make processes more efficient. Now, when you come to a new business, especially one that is failing, that's never a bad thing because you're instantly able to cut costs and manage your money and manage instant cash effectively. And he also delivered on the promise that Twitter has been making for so long to deliver actual payouts to people, the creators that sustain the business. But that wasn't all good because hate speech and free speech were two different things which Elon Musk did not factor in. When you democratize verification, there's the obvious problem that everybody can be verified, and once everybody is verified, they're suddenly a reliable source and they suddenly can push any narrative that they want, whether that's true or false. And Elon Musk did try to push AI, he did try to push payments, he did try to make the Everything app. However, that has failed with the lack of investment in ads, the lack of general traction from people and general approval from people. So as we go into 2026, as we go into, 3 to 4 years into Elon Musk's acquisition of X, what is really the future for Musk? What is the future for X? It all depends on, can they get back big players in their ad revenue? Can they control the number of spam accounts on Twitter, being that was already a problem before Elon Musk had tried to acquire X? Something that nearly put him off the deal completely, but he was coerced into proceeding with the transaction despite claiming that he was not aware of the number of spam accounts on Twitter. Yet, 3 years down the line and we still don't have any improvements with the spam bots. What do you think is the future of Elon Musk? What do you think is the future of X? Are we ever going to get the old Twitter back? And comment down below what do you think I should talk about next, and I'll see you all in the next one.